finding this winner energy. Every day I was meditating, I was seeing myself winning on stage. I was seeing myself jumping up and down. I was jumping up and down and screaming just like every day, and really getting into what would it feel like to win what I want on The Price is Right. I did a little bit of strategy work. So I researched online just other people who had won and what kind of prizes they give out. And eventually I was like, okay, I want to win a car and I'm going to sell the car. And that's the way to kind of guarantee a higher cash value.
Sapphics and allies, you're listening to Queer Women Rising. That's women with an X because we are inclusive here. When we hear the stories of queer women who have gone before us, we see evidence that there's nothing we can't do. And yes, we can too. It's time for you to level up in life, in love, and step into your most authentic, abundant reality. You won't be the same after this episode. It's your turn to let go of good for greatness. Your best life is now loading. Let's rise.
Let's rise.
Let's rise.
Let's rise.
Let's rise.
Let's rise.
Let's rise. I'm so excited to talk with you today with my guest, Kenya, and I'm going to be sharing a little bit about her before we even get started. For those of you just tuning in for the very first time, hi, I'm Sophia Spallino. I am a lesbian and host of Queer Women Rising. I'm so glad that you're here. I love showcasing queer women doing badass things in the world, whether that's building their own businesses or sharing their art. So if you are queer and you're here, you're going to love this. Before I have Kenya on the show, I just want to give a little bit of information about her so you can get to know her. She is a friend. We have been friends online now for, I think, like 6 months, which is so wonderful whenever you build those relationships and then now you're like buddy on the internet. It's one of my favorite things. I actually don't remember the last time I've made close friends organically in real life because my whole world is online, right? Hey girl. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about embodying winner energy, making more money the easiest way possible, being able to flow into that. I'm going to read you her bio, so I'm going to look down. My friend Kenya at ButterflyBreathworks is a Reiki master teacher, ritual facilitator, doula, and earthen home builder. She combines ancestral earth-based rituals with energy healing and self-inquiry to create an enchanting, sensual lifestyle. She believes in the presence of spiritual inheritance that greatly outweighs the physical inheritance for each human on this planet. I love that. I love the way you share that, Kenya. Connecting with your spiritual inheritance is the best way to welcome joy and miracles. And she wants everyone to walk with this power, starting with the beautiful women and womb carriers in the world. Okay, if you are a purpose-driven queer, whether that is your art or you're building your own coaching business, it's going to be so vital for you to hear what we have to share in this episode as we talk about embodying winner energy, welcoming ease, connecting with your spirit for clarity and motivation, and grabbing the business cheat codes. So, without further ado, let's welcome Kenya. Actually had this podcast interview scheduled a while back and I never cancel things. I'm not a cancel girly, but a couple weeks ago I found out my parents were in a crazy accident and I had to cancel. And I'm so glad that we're here today because I know that God always has divine timing. So today is meant to be the day.
Absolutely. And I mean, I feel so honored to be a part of the newly Queer Women Rising podcast. Like, it had a completely different name and energy when we were first going to do this. So this is super special. And I am so grateful for you welcoming me here, Sophia.
I'm so grateful to have your energy here, Kenya. Thank you so much for showing up and being willing to come on as a guest in the new way on the new platform, because I know I invited you just as a businesswoman. And we all know that here on Queer Women Rising, I love showcasing queer stories. And as I was telling people, like, I'm not canceling my old guests. I'm always going to honor my commitments. but I was like, "Psst, you're queer? Like, can we talk about that? Can we talk about that on the show? Beyond just the manifestation, beyond the business, like, are you identifying as a queer woman in the world? Like, what's your pronouns and are you straight? What are you, girl?"
Yes, absolutely. I definitely identify as queer. It's so funny because I don't know if I've really made that publicly clear. And it's not because I'm afraid or ashamed, but it's really because I have such a comfort level with being private with dating and relationships. And I know we talked before that that comes a lot from my Christian upbringing.
Yeah.
And not really wanting to be seen for what I wanted to do in relationships and things like that. And so for me, I identify as bi, as pansexual. I am interested in people and energy, not necessarily a specific gender. And that has been so much fun for me. I've been thinking for the last couple months, I'm like, oh my gosh, am I like gonna start sharing about dating and relationships? Is that something I want to start including in, what I share with the world? And it's been this question that has been leaning towards yes. And then we had this podcast opportunity together. And so I'm like, okay, this is another push in that direction. So I'm grateful for this moment that we get to share.
I'm so honored that you're sharing it here. I feel so special. But also, what's crazy is I, I don't think it should be one of those things that's hard to come out. Like, it's crazy that we say, like, coming out, but also because of what we both went through, it might be 2024, but for us to say it for the first time does take a lot of bravery. And then it comes to like the privacy thing that you're sharing. So I don't take it lightly. Thank you so much for sharing it. So when you say you're nervous about sharing it and you've come from that background, do you feel, and this is something that I think women struggle with as business owners online and like just sharing in general, do you feel there's people in your life now that keep you in any way, not just that way, but keep you from sharing the fullness of who you are, having as much fun as you want to have online in your content, that like you think before you post, like this certain person pops into your head and you're like, oh my God, they might see it?
Yeah, as time continues to go on, that becomes less and less of a concern for sure. And I am aware, I'm like, I'm not all the way there. I'm not 100% like, this is all of the sides of me. This is entirely my essence. Like, I'm working my way up for sure. And it's less about a specific person. But for me, when I think about that, sharing my full essence online, and even when I think about being, less private around dating and relationships, and I don't even just mean on social media. I mean, even when I'm just talking to friends and family and things like that, I've always been a little bit, mum's the word. And it's something really interesting that happened for me, and I wonder if this is true for other women too, where when you have received basically a program or a list of do's and don'ts for how you can be in the world, even when you kind of get over that, even when you kind of get over that break in your relationship with another person who's judging you or expecting certain things from you, there still can be this internal fear that you're carrying that no longer it's not specifically related to mom and dad or cousin or auntie or church leader or pastor, but it's just still lives inside of like, I know it's theoretically safe for me to do this thing, but does my nervous system feel safe? Like, am I comfortable? Am I actually comfortable with this now that it's been so many years of not doing this thing?
Yeah. And we don't even realize we're doing it, but we'll shrink who we are online or just in conversations because it doesn't feel safe, because there's some old patterning there that proved to us like, hey, it wasn't safe for me to do this in the past. And then we end up playing small in so many ways that I notice anytime I've allowed myself like to be seen in a big way and know that that could come with people not loving me, not liking what I have to share online. That's when I've seen the most success. That's when I've seen the most engagement. But it's truly being like, I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid of being seen. And you can choose what boundaries you have in business, what boundaries you have online on social media, and you can be successful while having really firm boundaries in place. But the more you can share these little unique things about you, I will admit, especially as someone who's built a big personal brand, the more you're willing to share strategically. Doesn't have to be all of it, but like say you want to share this one aspect and you go really deep into that one aspect, like I do with relationships or religious trauma, then that helps connect me to people who have had those same experiences or really similar experiences, and then allows you to be really seen. And for me, that's what's helped me step into that winner energy of being seen so much. I know that you're so good at winner energy and sharing that on your social media and using that, applying that to every area of your life. For anyone listening who doesn't know what that is, how would you define it? And why would they want to use that in different areas of their life? Like, where do you need winter energy? Because for me, it's like, I leave no stone unturned. There's no money on the table. Like, this applies to my relationships, everything. But what does it mean for you?
Yeah. So when I think about winter energy, it takes me back to when I won on The Price is Right. And I won $27,000 worth of the exact prizes that I wanted. Like, I went in there, knew what I wanted, and came out and won exactly what I wanted in an even more magical way than I could have expected. And I also, when I think about The Price is Right, I think about metamorphosis miracles. And it's this concept that the more that you are able to transform your inner world and to get so much closer to this highest version of yourself, the more that you end up opening the door to miracles, to improbable, magical things happening in your life. And I know you're an incredible example of this too with your story. And so for The Price is Right, my brother had gone on the show. He won $12,000. He was telling everyone, like, hey, you should just apply for Price is Right and try and win something. Like, I won, you can do it too. And he's someone who has winner energy, by the way. And he tells me this, and I'm just like, oh, man, that's so good for you that you won. That's so good. And you know, you live in LA, it's near the studio. I'm in California. I'm moving to Costa Rica. I'm in Northern California. I'm moving to Costa Rica. Like, this is too much of a risk. Like, sorry, this is not going to work for me. And I don't use the phrase loser energy, but I'm sure you can tell that was more of the mindset that I was in. I was just immediately like, I have no chance. There's no way for me that this could work. Of course it worked for you, but we're not the same, basically. And what happened to me was time passed and I was really looking into my sexual trauma. And I did some shamanic rituals, I did some womb clearings, I did some blood magic, and I really looked into how I could support myself in my sexual trauma. And I saw immediate results. And once I experienced those results, I was like, oh shit, if I could heal that, then what else am I capable of? And what pops into my mind? Oh, I think now I could win on The Price is Right. And
I love it because it's like such a simple way to prove it to yourself. Like, you have nothing to lose. Why not go for it?
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. And so that marked the shift into winner energy. And the way that I would define it is a firm belief in yourself, a belief that you can achieve something that's actually beyond your capabilities, right? I was like, I don't actually know the prices for everything. I've been living in Costa Rica. I'm not even familiar with what things are selling for in the United States. But I just all of a sudden had this firm belief that I could achieve whatever I really wanted to in that moment. And it sounded so fun. It sounded so juicy. It sounded so luscious. And I wanted it so bad. And so I really refined this winter energy that was probably a 4-month process of realizing I'm going to go for it, of waiting for the applications to open, of doing the application, of doing the online interview, of finally getting the text message, yes, you've been accepted to come to the audience, which does not mean you get to go on stage, of refining this winner energy. Every day I was meditating, I was seeing myself winning on stage. I was seeing myself jumping up and down. I was jumping up and down and screaming, just like, every day, and really getting into what would it feel like to win what I want on The Price is Right. I did a little bit of strategy work. So I researched online just other people who had won and what kind of prizes they give out. And eventually I was like, okay, I want to win a car and I'm going to sell the car. And that's the way to kind of guarantee a higher cash value prize than actually going for a cash prize itself. And so literally the night before The Price is Right, I'm doing shamanic ceremony, I'm researching prices of SUVs, I'm researching prices of cell phones, and I am just in prayer, just like, look, I know what I want, I know what I'm here for, I know this is gonna happen. And I get to the studio, and there's all of these things that happen, like COVID tests and applications and forms and group interviews and all these things. And we finally get into the studio, and I'm feeling like, oh my gosh, I think I've already blown it, because I've been waiting for months to do this. I don't feel like I've really shown my essence. And so we get into the studio where they actually record the show, and they're playing all this club music. And I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna dance. And so I just get up and I'm dancing, and I'm just like getting it in. And the girl next to me, she gets up and she starts dancing with me. Everyone else is sitting down. And I was like, okay, I think I've done enough now for them to know me and to know I'm here to win something. And, sure enough, they call my name. I get down there. There's, several rounds once your name is called before you actually go on stage. And so I'm in these rounds on this below the stage. And I'm guessing incorrectly. Every time. I have no idea what things cost. And finally, it's the last round. This is my last chance. And lo and behold, as I said, I was looking up cell phone prices the night before. It's a Google Pixel phone that drops down that we're guessing on. And I was like, okay, here we go. I'm going to get it. I get it. I go on stage. Not only am I playing for an SUV, which is what I had been looking at the night before, but I'm playing for a different version of a car I already had. So I had a Mitsubishi Outlander hybrid at home, and I'm playing for a Mitsubishi Outlander Sport. And so I was just like, wait, y'all. I came here to win a car. I knew I wanted to win an SUV, but y'all literally put the same car that I have on the stage. And in that moment, I didn't know the actual price of that car, but I knew I was going to win because it was something I already had. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I share all that to say that when you start to get really serious about your winner energy and you start to get very specific of what would it feel like to have this thing that I want? What would it feel like? What would it look like for me to step into this room and just stun everyone? What would I want to wear if I was going to win? Who would I want to be there if I'm going to win this thing whatever it is that you're going for? And how can I cultivate that frequency on a daily basis just at home? I didn't buy anything. I didn't pay for anything. I just really thought about what is the visual, what is the emotional template, and how can I live my life every day holding that and feeling that. And if you can do that, y'all, it's going to be really difficult for you to lose, to be honest.
Literally, you just took me there. And that applies to everything in life. Like, you want to get people to notice you on social media, do that. Like, you got to embody that energy. You got to wear, like, what's going to make you feel so happy to be on camera, right? It's not that it has to be the best or whatever, what anyone else would say, but it's what makes you feel confident. Like, the way that you just took me there, like, elevated my energy times 10. And what's so interesting is this applies to business. This applies to dating, the way you show up on your dating profiles, right? If you come to Queer Country Club. Also, what's really funny to me, and I didn't realize we'd be talking about your game show experience till just now, even though I know you mentioned it to me, like, in the application. I didn't even think about it. But what's really weird is one of the closest millionaires to me that I know is currently for fun, for shits and giggles. I'm talking, this is someone who has made like 3 million in a month before, like very, very wealthy, says that she is manifesting winning the lottery. It's a big goal. And it's like it's a competition right now with her and a few of her friends. Who's going to win the lottery first? Now, does she need to win the lottery? Absolutely not. But cultivating that winner energy, she's like, it all depends on how much I focus on. So I'm focusing on this thing in my business right now. So I won't be able to win the lottery. I can buy tickets, but I know I won't win it for at least a few months because I have to put in that focus and I don't have the attention to it right now. And I'm like, that's just so boss to be like, well, I know I'm going to win. And like, and that energy of, I don't need to do this. Like, it's going to come to me at the right time. But it all plays in together with what you're saying, like just showing up, knowing like, yeah, I'm going to win. And I think that that's a great way to play with your ability to manifest without putting in for you did have to travel, right? Like you did have to put in a lot of effort for it. But there's ways that I think everyone could look around and go, how could I play with winter energy today? Like small stakes, like how could I play with that? The way that like I get people to respond to me in the grocery store versus just like not wearing that winter energy. So you obviously are good at healing things. You're like, I can do this, I can do that. When you have clients come to you, what are they coming? So like, obviously you said like loser energy, you don't use that word. I'll use it. Okay, Kenya, I'll use it. What do you use to help people get rid of loser energy? Because at the end of the day, I want people coming to me when they believe in themselves. Like, let's go, let's take it a step further. Like you've got this idea, but when people come to you and maybe they do not feel like a winner yet, they don't feel like it's possible. They need to heal something first. What does what does that process look like?
Yes, I love this question so much. I love this question so much. So when people come to me and they're feeling a bit down and out, they're feeling like, okay, I've been working towards this thing and it's just not happening, or I want this X, Y, and Z in life, but I just feel so blocked by trauma or by fear or by whatever it is. People can come to me in two ways. There are some folks who are just like, yes, I'm confident, I'm ready for the next level. Can you just like teach me how to drive?
Yes.
You know, it's like, I know how to drive, but I need a license. Like, help me get really specific with what I can do for healing myself and others and take me to the next level. And then there are folks who come to me and they're just like, I don't understand what I'm missing here. I don't understand what's in between me and what I want. And I can work with those archetypes in two ways. One is providing training in how to heal yourself. So I teach Reiki, I teach shamanic journey, I guide womb healing ceremonies. That's not something that I train folks in, but I have found that by combining all three of those topics together with those womb healing in between the Reiki and shamanic ceremony, we end up providing the space to do the deep clearing work that you need to essentially take all of the mess off of your path so that it gets to be the straight line that you're walking through. And when people feel a lack of confidence in that area and their ability to even come in and like learn Reiki or learn shamanic journey or something like that, I definitely share with them, you know, in one session, you're going to get a result. In one session, you're going to see a difference. And are you willing to take a chance on this first session and to see what's possible? And then I also hold space outside of simply training people in the work that I do, either by leading meditations online, or I'm hosting a retreat. It's called Chrysalis Camp. That's going to be in Moab, Utah in September. And that's purely experiential. And basically, I go into my own meditative practice and I connect with the energy of everyone who's working with me, whether it's a group or one-on-one. I ask their ancestors, I ask their highest self, what is basically the pathway, what are the metaphors that I need to share with them in order for them to see exactly where they are right now and where they get to go and how they get to go there. And the metaphors make all the difference. And I use them in my meditations. I use them in Reiki. I use them in shamanic journey. And it's this medicine of being able to see a story and being able to see yourself inside of the story and being able to finally see what was that missing link in that story where you kept seeing yourself, you know, slamming into a wall, but suddenly through this metaphor you see, oh, but if you turn this way and if you focus on this thing, then that wall is going to dissolve into a door, and now you get to walk into the path, into the light. So it's working with metaphors, it's working with shamanic ceremony, whether it's me guiding or training folks in how to do that for themselves.
It makes me so like angel bumpy. I can feel the passion in your work. Like, oh my God. So many people do this work, and so many people are sincere and some aren't, but like I can feel the sincerity coming from you. Like you're like, I want to help people have this transformation. It's not about like just money for you. This is about real deep healing. So beautiful. What I'm hearing you say, in other words, is like you help people find solutions that they literally couldn't see for themselves. You're just unlocking these different layers. Like I always joke, like there was Sophia 2.0, and that's where I got to this level. And then Sophia 3.0 got here. And like you're able to help people see that and unlock it. And I think one of the reasons why we're not able to get to those levels on our own is so many of us, me included, we're very accustomed to chaos in relationships, chaos in business, believing it had to be hard, like believing anything good had to be hard. And I'm never going to lie to someone and say entrepreneurship is easy or relationships are all easy. But at the end of the day, it doesn't always have to be hard. And real quick, we got something from Angie here saying people work for money, so that's what they get, money. When you work for vision, you end up manifesting that vision. That's so good. Exactly. Exactly. Because money can only take you so far. And like, I know for me, it's like, okay, I have a vision of freedom, a vision of enjoying what I do, a vision of like creating something in the world that didn't exist before, right? So we do as entrepreneurs. But so many of us get stuck because we can't see past the chaos that we're accustomed to. I was lucky enough to be raised in a healthy home. What about you? Or did you have to overcome these? Like, I created chaos in my adult life. Like, let's just be real. I'm to blame for the chaos that I created, that I allowed in from relationships, right? Or doing things for work that I didn't enjoy. And then changing that, the first step was having someone like you come in and saying, no, no, no. I could actually see there doesn't have to be chaos here. You could choose this thing. You have to first stop allowing in this chaos and you have to choose something better, right? So that for me was the answer. What is it for you that's the answer when you're helping people in choosing chaos in their life?
I love providing an experience of something different. I love when people come to me and they're like, oh, meditation doesn't work for me, or I have too much anxiety or too much ADD for meditation, or you know, I've tried X, Y, and Z and it just hasn't worked for me. So I have some doubts. I'm not super confident in these things. I love being able to provide a transformative experience. If I do a chrysalis meditation with someone, that is in 30 minutes. And without fail, every single person who has done a chrysalis meditation with me, they come out of the other side just like, wait, that was super different. Wait, I saw my grandma for the first time. Wait, oh my gosh, I had this vision of myself and I could fly and I had this amazing partner and they were totally different than anyone I've ever dated before. And it's like people come out just like ready to share what the breakthrough was in that visualization, in the feeling in their body. Like, oh wow, I felt an actual lightning bolt of energy come through my crown and into my body. Oh, I felt symbols being drawn on me. Oh, that took me back to ancient Egypt, whatever it is. When someone feels so stuck in a certain pattern or in a relationship to chaos, I love being able to say, well, why don't we just try this thing? Why don't, I'll just share with you this meditation for free, or I'll guide you through this little sample. And every single time they come out the other side just like, whoa, something I didn't know. Something other folks didn't know, and that actually worked. How did you do that? And two things can happen from that point. Either they're like, show me more, let's do more. Or it's like, whoa, I don't know if I'm ready to actually do this work. I don't know if I'm actually ready. And I definitely understand that, and that definitely happens a lot. And I take so much pride in what I do, because I'm like, oh, folks are understanding the gravity of this work, that we're going to do real healing, that it can happen in real time. It can happen much faster than you might experience. And yes, that means you have to have a metamorphosis. It means you have to change. It means if you've been having all of these kind of caterpillar-esque habits, and you go through this program with me, or you go through these meditations with me, or you come on retreat with me, you might not be doing those things. And that might create shifts in your relationship. It might create shifts in your job or your business. And that can be scary. And also, it's so worth it, right? Because I mean, I know you can speak to this too, but for me, actually looking into those things, actually healing my harmful patterns, it brought me to Costa Rica. It connected me with my ancestors. It brought me onto The Price is Right. It, had our first collaborative book launch go so well that I was then hired to become a keynote speaker for a brand that I admired for a very long time. It's like, these are the things that happened as a result. And yes, I don't have necessarily all of the same friends. I don't have the same partner that I had. I don't have this or that. But what I have is like a million times better, and it just keeps getting better. And I know you can speak to that with your story of coming out of the closet and birthing your business. And even now you're rebirthing your business to really get clear on this queer women rising and dating support and all those sorts of things. Like, was what you had to give up to get here worth it? Was it worth it for you?
It was so worth it, but very, very, very uncomfortable in the moment. Like, it's so scary. Like Lindsay just commented, embrace change. It's so true what you're saying. 'Cause she's like, yeah, okay, yes, we have to embrace the change. But the reason why people are afraid to go further in that work is because it is uncomfortable for a season. It is this weird, wonky season where you're trading something that may be good or okay for this abyss until greatness. But you have to create greatness. One of the things I used to tell my life coaching clients like years ago, I've been doing this for so long, is if we're holding on to something, we're very aware, like we're holding on to something that we shouldn't have when our hands are tight. But sometimes we come to a coach or we come to a stage in our life where we think we're ready to let go of something. I know Angie will know, I've said this before, but we'll be like this, but we're still trying to hold on to something. Like, well, maybe if that person comes back and they change. And if we do this with our pinky finger, it actually retracts all of the fingers. So if you try and hold up your hands now, if there's even a part of you, like your littlest pinky finger is trying to hold on to something, a hope that something might change, a person might change, and you're not willing to truly step into your next level, your fingers can't be open into receptive mode. And this was something that I started sharing with my clients so long ago, and I still share every single day. And that's when we have trouble getting to the next level. As soon as I was able to let go in any area of my life, like, okay, this thing in business isn't working, let's pivot. Or this thing, I got this roadblock, like recently with my music. The week that I went to speak on your metamorphosis challenge, my music went away. It was the weirdest thing ever. But God had me go on your platform to speak and screenshot, so I had proof. And there may be a case one day, and now I have that proof. Without coming on your show, I wouldn't have screenshot those stats. I mean, it's crazy how God works, right? But I ended up pivoting in a completely different direction. And I think everyone listening can think, oh, a relationship ended, so I pivoted here, or I moved there. And without doing that, I wouldn't end up here. And that's like that butterfly effect that's so magical. But it is so uncomfortable in the moment. But the sooner we could say, this isn't working for me, and be willing to make a change, that's the more willing you are to efficiently do that, the quicker you're going to get to where you want to be in life. But don't get that confused with giving up on your dreams and just changing. That's not what I'm saying either. And it's hard to know. Do you know, like, when someone comes to you and they're like, hey, I'm feeling really stuck here, like, what would be your advice? Is it giving up, or is this the universe telling you, hey, this better thing is here for you? Like, as a spiritual leader, like how would you tell people to find that inside the answer? Like, is this giving up or is this the universe nudging me to pivot?
Yeah. So first, I want to talk a little bit about something you brought up
Go ahead.
before I ask that question, just around the discomfort of
Yeah.
that metaphor. I want to speak to that a little bit because something that I have learned from my own experience is that the more that you can cultivate this trust and faith of what is on the other side for you in a metamorphosis, the faster that transformation is going to come. And I'm specifically thinking about when I moved to Costa Rica, and I was, working my way up to it, and there were things I was going to have to give up, and I was trying to have one foot in each country and all these sorts of things. And I finally, Spirit gave me a dream, and they were like, you have to be moved by a certain date. And the date was coming up. And so I did it, and I was so terrified, and I just did not have my shit together. And literally for the first 4 months of living in Costa Rica, I cried almost every single day. Some days I was in my bed and I would just cry, and I would just run. I would be like, okay, I'm just going to run Reiki on myself until I feel better. And it would take 3 to 4 hours on the most difficult days, because it was such a leap. It was such a stretch. It was not on my personal timeline. It was on God's timeline. Yeah. I didn't know what was going to happen next. There was just like, all I had were unknowns, basically. And yet I also had this experience of when I first knew I was going to move to Costa Rica. Someone had asked me in a plant medicine ceremony, Kenya, what do you want? And I said, I want to move to Costa Rica. And I kind of looked around like, whoa, did that come out of my mouth? And I kept saying it. And as I continued to say it, the energy in my body started building to the point that the power went out. Okay. Like I'm talking like straight up buzzing, like very magical moment of every time I claim this, my vibration expands. And so I had that one thing in my heart and in my body of like, I know what it's going to feel like if I'm able to actually accomplish this and see this through. And it was terrifying. 4 months of tears. And then I made it through the other side, right? And since then, the other big things that I've gone for in life, maybe it's taken 3 months, maybe it's taken 2 months, maybe it's taken 2 weeks, maybe it's taken 2 hours to get myself there. And so the more that you can start proving to yourself your capacity for change, for metamorphosis, the more that you can start proving to yourself, this is what happens on the other end of this thing that I'm going for that's really difficult and uncomfortable in this moment, but there's this huge payoff, the faster that it starts to come to you. And for your question, oh my gosh, and now I forgot your question. What was it?
Oh no, you're good. But I'm just thinking right now, I'm like, oh my God, someone needed to hear that. Like that's someone's like, boom, that was like the sign I was looking for to move. Like I feel it so deeply. Like that's your message us if that's you. I want to know, because I feel like that was just like someone prayed for their sign, like, should I move? And then they listen to this podcast episode, whether this is coming out in a month on the podcast or the live replay. Whoa. Amazing. I'm trying to remember what my question was. Was it how to intuitively know if this is your right move to pivot, or if this is fear coming up and you giving up on something that you really should just push for. Because I know as an entrepreneur, people wouldn't fail if they don't give up. Right? Because if you don't give up, you keep finding a new path, a new solution. But the problem is people give up too soon. And you don't know if you were about to be on the edge where if you would have just pushed past this one more piece of stone, you would have struck gold. Or if you had a lot longer to go through, pushing underground, chipping away at gold. And if you had a lot more to go through, well, then you just need more time to keep going until something really sticks for you. But if you just keep going. So how do you know when it's time to pivot versus actually release and expand into something new?
Yes. Ooh, this is a very important question as well. And I'm like, okay, I literally have a whole class devoted to that topic. It's called Creating Your Dream Life. And you'll be able to access that in the Spiritual Inheritance Super Pack when it goes on sale in January. But yeah, in this class, I break down, basically, I call it the do's and don'ts of dreaming is one of the modules. And we talk about how you can have a dream that is rooted, or no, you can have doubts in your dream that's rooted in love, and you can have doubts in your dream that's rooted in fear.
Mm.
And just a quick reference point, anything that's fear-based is going to cause contraction in your body. When you think about it, you start to get a little bit tense, you start to shrink down, thinking about hiding or avoiding. Anything that is rooted in love is going to expand. So you're going to feel more relaxed. You're going to feel more light in your body. It's going to be easier to smile. There's going to be all this hope and kind of fireworks in your mind when you start going down the rabbit hole of, oh my gosh, where could that idea take me? And so if you have a dream, you've had this vision, you've had this goal that you've been working towards, and it's just not working out. Just not working out, and you're just like, man, is it me, or is there something else out there for me? There's so much I can say. One is timing is everything. And not everything is meant to happen on exactly the timeline that you expect. And so there have been times, even for me as a coach, I never fully gave up, but there were times where I didn't launch any program, for 9 months or something like that. I wasn't really sharing with people what I was doing, and I had had success previously, and then I went on to have more success later. And it felt like I want to level up what I'm doing, and I want more clarity. And so I'm just going to pause to receive that. There have been times where I've had a launch and I've been like, why hasn't anybody signed up yet? And then I start to doubt, is it me? Is this not what somebody wants? And then what I do in those moments is I'll go back and I'll think, okay, for everything that I've learned, have I actually tried all of the strategies that have been presented to me? Have I actually tried everything? And then I go back and I think about it. I'm like, oh yeah, no one signed up because I posted one time. And
I love this. Thank you for saying that. As a business coach, I'm like,
I'm like, okay, so what if I tried this time posting 20 times and actually telling people, anybody who will listen, what I'm actually doing, right? Yeah. And so when you're in that crossroads point, specifically in business, I urge you to really look at, have you actually done all of the things that you could have done to make something shake? And then also, is what you're actually doing, is your work, is your vision, is your passion, is it something that expands you? Is it something you actually enjoy? How committed are you to this vision and to guiding people and gathering community around this thing that you love? And if it truly is something that you're passionate about, if it truly is like your mission, something you cannot give up on, I think it's okay to take some breaks, to study, to learn how what you're doing can be more effective, and also to really evaluate what you've already done, because it can be easy to think, okay, it's not going well because I'm wrong, or because I'm bad, or because I need to redo my whole program. But really look at the evidence you already have. What are the results your clients have been getting? If you've had clients, if you haven't had clients, I love the idea of market research and offering a few free sessions in exchange for interviews to really get clear on what people want from you. But it's like, have you received results, but you're not getting enough traffic? Okay. Then what have you been looking at when it comes to marketing and sales? Have you contacted Sophia? Have you worked with a coach? Have you looked at what other successful people are doing in their marketing and in their sales? And have you actually tried that on? And really giving yourself a chance to experiment, to play the game, to try on your different character archetypes of like, who is the Kenya who is a sales queen? Who is the Kenya who's a marketing queen? Who is the Kenya who is a coaching queen? Like, what is this archetype of me truly embodying this thing that I need in order to achieve my goal?
I love it.
And if you have a dream and it's like contracting you, and you're like, I actually don't even believe in this anymore, or I don't even practice this anymore, or I tried this little thing in my business and it was so fun. Like, that's what's happening for me right now. I love everything I do in my business. And when we had our book launch and I was able to give a keynote speech, I was like, wow, public speaking, public speaking in Kenya, like, we are meant for each other. And so right now I'm just like, okay, how can I create the capacity in my business to be able to do that more, while still being able to do my coaching work, while still being able to build a house or two a year and things like that. So
can I give you just a little tip as a business
yeah.
coach? Okay, so if you want to speak more, first of all, I absolutely see it for you. But I want to see you share more in your videos, like more face to camera videos that are answering questions as if someone's already asked it. So the common questions you would get in your DMs, answer those for people, kind of podcast style. And I absolutely agree with what you're saying. Like playing the game, like that's the thing. People give up on business or finding the love of their life or whatever it is that they're manifesting because they're not seeing it as this game where you get closer and closer and closer and closer. And like, can you embody that, the Kenya, that's the sales queen? Of course you can. That's that winner's energy, right? So you already know it. And so doing that even more in your face to camera, that's what people are going to want to see from you. And to be able to know like immediately, oh yeah, like I could have her on my podcast because she speaks so well. She's so communicative. This is so easy. Like it just flows off of her. So more videos like that, girl, yes. Want to see.
Thank you. Yes.
You're welcome. Yeah, but start with your hooks being like a question from someone. And you can do like tech voice to text on the top of the screen. Like what, go look at some of mine like that. I'm gonna have a bunch more coming up probably the next couple weeks. I just did a day where I shot like 20 of them in an hour super fast. And I just finished having them edited and me tweaking them as well. So I'll be posting more. But yeah, something like that. So easy for you to shoot because you literally take those common questions and just hammer them out and then just edit the headline with the hook, something that people actually need. And beyond just the question, how does X ideal client and then the question? So they feel very called out in your content. So
Yeah.
I can't wait to see it.
This conversation is really showing me the kinds. I'm like, you're asking really good questions.
Oh, thank you. I've been podcasting for so long and you've been asking me really good questions back. Like I so see you being a huge brand. Like this is just a matter of time. You already embody that winner energy so well. Like I'm so happy that we rescheduled and you're willing to reschedule the show with me. But really quick, I wanted to talk about just some business cheat codes for people. Right now, because I know you were sharing like just before, the easiest thing I could tell you, like if you've been doing this for a while and you haven't seen the results that you want to have, but you already have a program that you love, what would happen if you took the thing you were doing and just got more excited about it and just took out a bigger megaphone? It's like what you're saying about like, okay, I posted once, but what would happen if I posted 20 times? I've been posting a couple times a day. I've been making easier content, very short content, easier content, posting once or twice a day. I've been creating content that feels so shareable and so fun. And we've gotten over 2 million views in the last 30 days. And in the last 60 days, I think over 3.5 million. I mean, it's crazy the reach that happens when you just have more fun in your content. So take what you're already doing and just take it up a notch, make it more important. And like embodying the winner energy, if you show up like you're important, people will believe you're important. And if you make people feel like they're important, they're going to want to connect with you. But you, in order to do that, you can either one, be a complete scammer, or you can really care about people, right? So it's going to work better in your energy, especially if you're working with people who are also purpose driven, if you are authentic to your core and you get very clear with God about what you feel you're meant to do on the planet. And then you show up really wanting to help people. Like when I pray with my team, every single Monday we have our meetings, it's like, how are we going to help people this week? God, show us more creative ways to help people this week. And leading from that place of service. So if you can lead from a place of really being genuine in your energy of wanting to help people and answer those questions that people really want to know. And then two, making yourself important, just showing up like you're important. in the way you dress, in the way you talk, in the way you're confident of looking at the camera, like, I've got something important to say, people will listen to you. And that applies. I mean, I'm a business coach and I have now a dating platform. Whether you're posting on a dating platform, even if it wouldn't be mine, if you want to get on a regular old dating app and swipe your life away, be my guest, but show up as someone important. Okay. The way you present yourself, your profile pictures, you got to be on brand. We're in a world that wants people on brand. We can't help it, right? So if you show up as someone who means business, people will take you serious. Now, I know you didn't need that advice. They needed that advice. Oh my gosh. So that's the codes that I want to share. And then for you, I think we can learn, everyone, if we close this out with, okay, what's the last thing Kenya's going to share? The wisdom that I would love for you to share would be through learning, through looking at your life and going, okay, if she can do it, I can do it. So what has been your biggest recent metamorphosis miracle? We know that you've won the game show, which is amazing. And we know that you've moved, which is so courageous. What has been just a recent miracle for you that we can lean into and go, okay, if she can do it, I can do it?
You know, there is one that is currently unfolding. I'm like, oh my God, it's a little too soon to go into all the details of the one that is literally happening to me right now. But definitely if y'all stay connected with me, you will be seeing the updates in the next 30 days. But what I will say is that the short of it is I have been wanting to go to ancestral land in West Africa for many, many years. I mean, since I was a little kid, I've always wanted to go and see, you know, what's going on in my ancestral land, what happens when I actually touch down on that soil. And I'll tell you that when I was 16 years old, or no, I guess I was 15 at the time, I had my 16th birthday in South Africa. And we are flying to South Africa. I'm with my whole family. I'm with a choir, and we were going there to sing. And we had to refuel the plane in Dakar, Senegal. The plane touches down. We don't even get off the plane. And we're there for like an hour or something as they're refueling. And the moment we touch down in Senegal, my entire body is buzzing. I'm 15 years old. I'm Christian. I don't have any sort of understanding about energy healing or any of those sorts of things. But I noticed my whole body is vibrating. And at the time, I didn't know where my ancestors were from. But I touched down and I was like, I think my body knows this is the closest we've been to ancestral land. Like there's something happening just by me being here inside of a plane.
I know what you're saying is true, even if I don't know if you've confirmed it or not, but it is, because I can feel it all the way. Angel bumps up my legs. Like, that's how I know. Like,
right. So I have that experience and I'm like, okay, one day I really need to get off a plane in West Africa and experience things. Fast forward 2 weeks, we're still in South Africa and we have our last show. And this lady comes up to my dad and they're talking about the show and she gets chills. She starts crying. She gets goosebumps. And she's like, listen, I have the second sight. This has happened to me before. And every time I've been correct. You are from the royal house of Sierra Leone. You are from the royal house of Sierra Leone. And my dad's kind of like, okay. And my mom, you know, gets the lady's information. And now this is turning into a story, but it's a good one. She gets her information, and on the flight home, my dad's like, okay, I think it's time for us to get our DNA tested. So we come home from South Africa. They do the DNA stuff. They find out my dad's dad is from the Mende tribe of Sierra Leone. They find out my dad's mom and my mom's mom are both, like, their original ancestors are from Nigeria, the same tribe. And so now we have some guidance of like, okay, we're Nigerian, we're Sierra Leonean, cool. A couple of years ago, I'm at a cousin's house and her and like my uncle and, you know, some of my other aunts and uncles, they had all done either Ancestry.com or 23andMe. And that showed, okay, Nigeria, Mali, Senegal, all of these countries in West Africa. And so that was when I actually got the confirmation of, okay, there is Senegalese blood in my body too. And I had been saying for years, okay, I don't want to go more than 3 decades without going to West Africa. So I'm going to go for my 30th birthday. I'm in the midst of building my business. It's just not making sense. I don't have capacity. And I was like, okay, I'll go for my 30th year. And then I'm still just like, oh, that's a little too much time pressure. Why don't we wait till we're 33? And I'm 30 years old right now. My birthday's in September. And God literally just made a way. And I'm going to be going to Mali, which is an ancestral land for me, in like a month.
Oh my gosh.
Came out of nowhere.
I am so excited. I cannot wait to watch your adventures there. And I know there's this unlock in your soul of like your next step in life or your next step in business just from going. Wow. Wow, wow,
And
wow. It's so crazy. Like I know I felt that call like I have to go to Italy. Like I have to go, I have to go, I have to go. And I went and like it was just wild. Like so many things unlocked. So I know, like, please report back because I can't wait to hear.
oh my God, Troy's here. Yes, hi, and yay. Yeah, and I did the metamorphosis that happened before that was I did 40 days of shamanic ceremony. So I did 44 shamanic journeys in 40 days. And I was like, okay, I'm doing this for clarity of my next steps. I'm doing this to deepen my connection with my ancestors. Like, show me what's next for me. So I do all these journeys for all of these different reasons. And I finished on July 4th. It was basically like my independence ritual. And then the next day is when I received this invitation. And, the flights have been booked. I'm going to be dancing for 2 weeks. And wow.
I'm so excited. I cannot wait to watch this. Okay, well, the content coach in me is like, please take all the B-roll, enjoy your actual trip, take all the B-roll you possibly can, and then do lots of voiceovers when you get home. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. Someone listening today, it's like someone needs to move and someone also needs to go. Like there's this place you've been feeling in your heart, like I need to go. Like this is it. Like this is what you needed to hear. And it's so weird. Like women hearing other women doing things, hard things, different things, things that require time and money investment. We think it's too hard or it's not the right time. But realistically, when is it going to be the right time for you to do these things that are on your bucket list? Whether it's just for your pleasure, your spiritual connection, or it is to do like something that you perceive as scary, like as starting your own business or taking things to the next level. Like or even having a baby, right? People say that all the time. There's no right time. You decide. And I'm really, really honored that you'd share so many special things on my show today, Kenya. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Such a sacred space. Well, if people are like, oh my God, I love this woman's energy. How do I work with Kenya Wright? What did they do?
Yes, so go to my page, ButterflyBreathworks. My friend and I, Lisa, she's a relationships coach. I'm obviously in the energy healing and magic and all of that. We are going to be co-hosting a retreat. It's called Chrysalis Camp. It is September 12th through 16th in beautiful Moab, Utah. I used to live there. I learned how to build houses there. And we are going to be there focused in on metamorphosis. So I'm going to be grounding us with shamanic ceremony. We're going to do womb clearing. It is open to all genders and expressions. Everyone gets to participate in that in a really, really powerful way. And then Lisa is going to be guiding us through the gene keys. So we're going to be looking at basically the way we all have 64 meridians in the body, right? And the gene keys allows you to see your specific energy fields and archetypes and really specific things about your soul mission and the way that you interact with other people. And we're going to be looking at that and looking at your relationships and your communication and your relationship to your ancestors and your inner child over these 4 days with the gene keys and the ceremonies so that you get to kickstart and expand your personal metamorphosis. That is the way to connect with me in person, and I would love to meet with you there and to facilitate ceremony for you there. And then online, I have a couple more master classes that I'm teaching this year, and then my next shamanic training is going to be next spring.
Amazing. So the event that's happening in September, how long is it again that they'll be there?
It's 4 days, September 12th through 16th.
I love
Yeah.
it. So in 4 days, guys, you're going to come out completely metamorphosis, come in a caterpillar, leave a butterfly. I'm so freaking excited for everyone's transformation. I know any time in my life, whenever there's been something massive, it's either been going someplace to figure it out, or being a part of something that wasn't just for like an hour. It was like an actual container that took some time. And that's when I see the most results with my clients too. It's like being in something for a few days, like being completely immersed and having that experience. So I'm really excited that they're going to get that with you. Your energy is beautiful, and to be in that for 4 days will be transformative. Thank you for being on the show, Kenya. And you report back to me personally about what you discover when you go back to the homeland.
Oh my gosh, absolutely. Thank you so much, Sophia, and thank you everyone who came live and who's also listening to the recording. I am so excited to continue these conversations and to expand on this energy and to make more face-to-camera videos, okay?
Yes, ma'am. And if you want to learn more about connecting with Kenya, Butterfly Breathworks, I'm going to have her information in the replay caption of this video. And if you're listening to the podcast, it will be in the show notes. So be sure to get in touch with her and follow her. And I'll talk to y'all soon. Let's rise. As queer women, that's women with an X, because of course we are inclusive here. As I was saying, as queer women, we haven't always been lifted up or celebrated. We have often felt left out and put down in places that historically haven't welcomed us. In fact, we have been conditioned by society to be grateful for mere tolerance. My resilient LGBTQ+ IA community, I am talking to you. I'll bet you've recognized the spark that God put in your heart. Your unique calling to impact the world in only a way that you can. A business idea, a brand to build, a coaching program to start, the art to create, the song to sing, the book to write, that relationship you long to build. But that little light inside your soul has often been blown out by the people around you, leaving you conditioned to play small and not step into your full potential. You are not alone, and it's never too late to truly live your most authentic dream life. I would know. I came out late in life, nearly 30, a couple years ago, after being bullied for months inside a country club. Right outside of my weights class, I was assaulted by a bigoted woman who couldn't stand my queerness. She physically pushed me, so I had a meeting with management. I told them I didn't feel safe. I brought forth evidence, and guess what? They did nothing. Sadly, this is normal. But in order to create change, we have to be brave enough to be the change ourselves. So I did a thing. I started my own virtual country club for queer women. A safe place for us to create meaningful connections and grow. So if you're looking for a love connection, networking opportunities, or coaching to live your best freedom life, you want to apply to be a part of our incredible community of purpose-driven, passionate queer women. Join Queer Women Rising, the online queer country club for growth-minded women ready to level up in life and love. To apply, DM me the word rising on Instagram at Sophia Spallino, or chat me the word rising on sophiaspallino.com. Now, beyond hosting Queer Women Rising, I am a personal brand coach and social media strategist. If you give me a moment to tell you about what I do, I can share how I can help you, just like I've helped many clients before get famous online and make more money. If you're an exhausted coach or service provider, ready to scale your business for real, or you're just getting started building your dream brand from scratch, and if you're ready to build your own profitable personal brand, I can show you how in 6 months or less. But why should you take my word for it? Well, I've spent over 10 years in the social media marketing industry, amassing over 400,000 followers across platforms like Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube, as well as hosting a top charting podcast, building a successful service provider business, and coaching powerful women to build purpose-driven, profitable personal brands. Yeah, I have the social media and sales process strategies that can help you finally make the money you deserve. Because I want to help you build your dream business that gives you time, freedom, and makes real money. So for a limited time, I'm giving away your first steps to go from less than 5K months and advance to 10 to 20K months. Grab my newly revamped Profitable Personal Brand Blueprint, my proven framework to build yourself a personal brand that motivates, inspires, and sells so that your business can thrive the way it should. Just go to the link in the show notes. Whether you're a novice at creating or you're feeling stuck, hitting a plateau in your business that once had consistent revenue, and need guidance, support, and coaching to get to your next level, I invite you to book a strategy call to speak with either me or my team to see if we'd be the right fit to work with each other inside of the Profitable Personal Brand 6-month coaching program. Mind you, I am extremely selective, and this coaching program is not for everyone, and I'm not afraid to say it. I am only taking on serious, purpose-driven, and committed queer women and allies inside of my community. If that's you, book your free strategy call. The link is in the show notes. And if you feel yourself come alive and love listening to Queer Women Rising, please leave me a 5-star rating with a kind review wherever you listen to podcasts. Be sure to share the show with a powerful woman you know. And remember, when you're called to do something greater in life, love, or business, you will be uncomfortable until you move. So get up and go get what you want. Let's rise. Let's rise.